The biggest business process outsourcing firm in the country pushes back against government's return on site order, even if that means losing tax perks. Joining us now is Concentrix Philippines Amit Jagga to tell us why they still prefer hybrid work. Thank you so much for joining us, Amit. Let's clarify first about the operations of Concentrix. You have a 100,000 strong workforce. How many of them, Amit, are still working from home, and how many have reported back to the office?
So Rico, even now, 57,000 of our employees are working from home, and 43,000 are now back in offices or in some form of hybrid setup.
And how many of your centers are currently within the economic zones, Amit?
We currently, Rico, have 48 centers in the country. 46 of them are registered with PESA, and 2 of them are now registered with BOI.
But keeping a hybrid work setup, Amit, would be meaning letting go of these tax perks, including a 5% gross income earned tax, which BPOs in economic zones pay instead of other taxes like the new 25% corporate income tax. I mean, continuing this hybrid work setup is a steep price to pay.
It started, Rico, with a very steep price. We are thankful for FIRB and PESA to approve the 30% at least, which at least gives us some threshold. Also, the BOI setup helps to mitigate. But yes, in the end, the taxation is higher. And if we look at the competitiveness index of Philippines across the world, this will have an impact on the Philippines for sure.
But net, Amit, how many percent have you lost in tax breaks, despite getting some kind of assistance from the national government?
So Rico, the way to look at it is that about the 43% who are working from the sites now, they are that operations now becomes eligible for the lower tax rate, and the ones which are left, which is about 57%. 30% of that can be claimed at a higher tax rate, and the remainder is the one where we pay the higher tax rate that is left. So still significant for us.
Can you give us like a ballpark figure on how significant that amount is and how much it also impacts your operations and your bottom line?
So Rico, I can't comment on the number right now because we don't share results by geography in terms of financials. But the way to look at it is that about 20% of our operations becomes tax inefficient in the country.
You know, Amit, for many call center employees, working from home keeps them safe and, prevents burnout. And at the time of soaring fuel prices, it means avoiding notorious traffic jams. Working from home also means we spend less on transportation and food. And you have a price to pay, but you are also thinking of the welfare of your employees who want to work from home.
And Rico, we cannot create a great industry on demotivated staff members and demotivated workforce. And therefore, it is critical for us that we think about the staff first. And that's what Concentrix is doing currently. Yes, it is a price to pay. But in the longer term, we feel this is the right decision to take. And really, we've got these million people right now, which is captive audience to be taken away from day-to-day traffic. We're thinking about a 4-day work week. We're thinking about coding again. Why not use this 1 million people and reduce the traffic on the streets?
And Amit, your company basically had a customer and employee satisfaction rating survey, and it showed that that have gone significantly higher than before with this hybrid work setup. But of course, net, you're still paying more taxes. But on the other hand, are your clients also willing to pay higher fees because you will also have to shoulder higher taxes?
See, it depends from each client to client, but a lot of our clients will be agnostic to it. They would want us to cover the cost on our own dime, and that is what we will see in the BPO space overall in the Philippines. that people will start looking at countries which are high tax efficient, and therefore we will lose some of the business if this continues. And I'm really hoping that the new administration will look at it slightly differently and will be able to take a more judicious call for the country.
So will you stop building more of your BPO centers in economic zones and now invest more in BPO facilities that are BOI supported?
Absolutely, Rico. We are already moving towards that direction. If you look at the last two centers that we opened, both are registered with BOI, and we plan to open two more in the future, which will again be registered with BOI. So after this change in stance by the FIRB, we are definitely looking at BOI as the way to go for the future.
And despite paying higher taxes and losing some of those tax perks, is Concentrix still looking at investing more money in the Philippines?
Absolutely, yes. And the reason is the great workforce that we see in this region. So while we've seen some decisions which don't go well from a government perspective, but we've definitely seen that when it comes to client satisfaction, Philippines is top of the chart still, and that continues to drive us to invest more into the region.
More investments into the region, and that will also mean more jobs for Filipinos over the next few years.
Absolutely. Enrico, if you look at it currently, we are the largest private sector employer in the country at about 100,000 people. And our plan is that in the next 3 years, how do we hit 150,000 people? So 50,000 more jobs is what we're talking about in the next 3 years for the region.
Thank you so much for joining us on The Final Word. Amit Jagga of Concentrix Philippines.